Welcome back to the expert walkthrough for Dark Souls 3, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Let's Play Dark Souls HD. And in the last video, we cleared the tutorial, we defeated the tutorial boss, Udix Gundyr, and we also made our way to Firelink Shrine while taking out the Swordmaster NPC for those extra souls and his weapon, which I will showcase soon. But the reason I'm back here at the bonfire at the very beginning of the tutorial, or I guess the beginning of part B of the tutorial, is because, like a dumbass, I totally forgot to go loot the item that was by the giant crystal lizard. So we're gonna go get that now. Fuck you! That's my name! If you guys don't know what that's from, I highly suggest you look it up. It's extremely satisfying. Thrust attack for days. It's so good. And no, for those of you who are scared shitless, he does not come back. The giant crystal lizards actually don't respawn. Okay. That was actually a terrible mistake I made because the soul item that you get right there is worth it. And like I showed you guys before, if you are in an area where you cannot actually move fast, like you can't sprint through, it's faster to just keep tapping the roll button. You will cover more ground and use the same amount of stamina, technically. Okay, so now we're going to head back to Firelink Shrine, the hub. And I'm going to go through the NPCs with you guys, just to give you a solid idea of what's going on. Okay. And then having those extra souls is really going to help too, because we are going to need plenty of strength in the beginning. I gave you guys my build plan before. I'm probably going to use the Lothric Knight Shield for the whole game, because it's light for how much stability it has. It's a very solid shield. We're going to ditch the Knight Shield without upgrading it. I will keep the Longsword for the entire game as well, because the build is going to be a quality bleed poison build. It's going to be something different. As some people were disappointed that I'm not going to use magic, but I'm straying away from it. I've put a lot of hours into this game using different magic builds, like Faith, Dark Magic, regular sorcery and stuff like that, fire, and for some reason I find weapons to be the most satisfying, particularly because of weapon arts, which we will get into soon. Now, I didn't showcase the weapon that the Swordmaster drops. It is the Uchi Katana. This is a classic Souls weapon that has been in every single game in the series so far. It's got a regular katana moveset. The weapon art consists of a parry or a sweep. The sweep is very, very good for breaking guard. Okay. Put my longsword back on. Now the Firekeeper here, her only purpose is to level you up. That's pretty much it.
Them up to Loth. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring new souls, plucked from their vessels.
Okay, so, like I said, I will be lore-focused in this playthrough. The Firekeeper actually has a set questline, unlike the others. Now, there is a questline for Anastasia from Dark Souls 1, but there's really no questline for the Emerald Herald in Dark Souls 2, and there's certainly no questline for the doll in Bloodborne. But this Firekeeper, this Hub Maiden, whatever you want to call her, she does have a set quest line. You can alter her path, which is pretty cool, and I will be doing that. Now, my build might be changing, but my persona has not. You guys will see that over the course of the playthrough. The other NPC we have is this guy.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. and they'd have us seek the lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
Okay, he gives you a free emote.
Don't you think?
Okay, this is your classic crestfallen knight. He was in Demon Souls, he was in Dark Souls, he was in Dark Souls 2. In Dark Souls 1, you were able to fight this guy later on. He goes hollow or whatever. But in Dark Souls 3, they actually gave this particular iconic NPC a full quest line. He can be summoned as a helpful NPC when you are fighting bosses, and you also get to undergo a really cool quest line with him where you get all of his equipment, and you also get to unlock some really cool Dragon Covenant stuff with this guy. So I'm going to be doing this guy's full quest line too. Now I'll go ahead and do the other two this way. This is going to be your generic shop.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
Okay, the Shrine Handmaid. Notice how she said she was undead. She's not unkindled like we are. She's different than us. All of these people, except for the guy sitting there, the depressed guy that's been in every game, he's unkindled as well, but she's undead. Andre the blacksmith down there is undead as well. But you can buy consumables, you can buy equipment from her, and holy shit, that was loud. Somebody was getting on it near my house. That was extremely loud. Okay, and I heard it through my headphones. That's how I know it's loud. It was definitely a Honda. But consumables, I'm getting off topic. Equipment and spells and miracles. So that is the extent of what you can buy from her right now. She doesn't offer anything that's worth buying at the moment, unless you, I don't know, let's say you start off as a deprived or something. You'd probably want to buy a weapon from her if you didn't plan on using the katana dropped by the Swordmaster. But the armor you start off with is, shit, that's what the guy sitting over there is wearing, the full chain set. But I'm going to sell stuff to her. I do not need this. And I certainly don't need that. And this shield is a piece of shit. I don't need that either. I'm going to keep the Master's attire for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I don't feel like parting with it.
Ashen One.
Oh, let's hear what she has to say, though.
Oh. Ashen One, if my wares are not to thy satisfaction, bring me umbral ash. With ash, I'll fashion new wares. Is it not our sorry fate to sup on death?
Okay, there it is. That is her purpose. She actually explained her uniqueness as an NPC right there. You will come across different items in the game that are called umbral ash, and there are several different types of them. They all have different names, and with each different one you bring, she unlocks new items in her inventory. So the point is to get those umbral ash. Don't sell them to anybody, whatever you do. Don't discard them either. And give them to her, and you can buy new stuff. It's very important that you get those items because that's how you get access to some of the more useful inventory items in the game that can be used as tools to help you with certain bosses or in certain tight situations. What I'm saying is, the more ash you bring her, the more access you have to items that are going to make your life easier in this game.
Ash.
Yes, I'll bring more ash. Shut up. And this, if you don't know who this is, you've definitely never played Dark Souls. This is Andre of Astora. He's been the blacksmith since Dark Souls 1, and we love him be nice to him.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust? A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
Okay, so you notice how Andre is the second person now to mention the Lords of Cinder. The plot of the game is starting to unroll as we just venture out and talk to people in the hub. We've not even really set foot out into the true game yet, and we're already kind of piecing together what we're supposed to do. The Lords of Cinder need to be returned to their thrones, and where do you think their thrones are, huh? Probably out there where those giant freaking thrones are. So, that is the point. We are unkindled, we are supposed to go find the Lords of Cinder and force them to do their job. It's time to pay taxes. So, Andre can upgrade your weapons, and have the ability to, obviously, because it'll tell you what your requirements are to upgrade the weapon. Right where, I guess right where my cursor there is, you see Titanite Shard under required items, and you need the red number that's outside of the parentheses. The number that's inside the parentheses is how many you have in your inventory. I need one more. I don't have two, so I can't do anything right now. Infusing your weapon is a totally different thing. You can make weapons fire, whatever. It gives you options here. There's refined, there's raw, and there's fire. You need a specific gem for each one, though, which we have none of. Now, the fire gem was a starting gift. We could have chose that, but I prefer not to in the beginning. And then repairing your equipment is self-explanatory. If something breaks, he will fix it for you. Now, much like Dark Souls 2, when you rest at a bonfire in this game, it restores the durability of your weapon, but it will not repair broken weapons. So definitely get to know the difference between the two. You can also allot your Estus Flask. I like to keep it at 3-1 in the beginning because I do use weapon arts and I am going to need the Ashen Estus Flask. And I'm slightly more careful the more experienced, so I don't necessarily have to blow through all my Estus Flask, but for brand new people that have never played this game, I would highly recommend you go with 4-0 because you need all the Estus Flask you can get to heal. Make things less frustrating for you, because staying alive is a little more important than using flashy weapon arts if you want to retain your sanity. And then reinforcing your Estus Flask is as easy as powering it up, giving you more of them so that way you can heal more times without resting at a bonfire.
Prithee, be careful. I don't want to see my work squandered.
That it won't, sir. That it won't. And there's nothing back here, though. There's one more NPC that we need to talk to. I'm just making damn sure that there's nobody else down here that I forgot about. And there shouldn't be, because we will add NPCs to our collection at our hub as we keep talking to more people. But the place I want to go now... And you can read the backs of these thrones and Watchers of the Abyss and whatever. This is the last person we need to talk to.
All that unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corse. This sad cadaver, no need to be coy. Have a closer look.
I don't know how a paraplegic would beat Gwyn and link the fire, but whatever, I'm not one to judge.
Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast-fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a colossus.
I don't like Ludlith. He's particularly evil. You'll see as we keep progressing through the game. But he is required. This is the guy who makes boss weapons for you. Now in the other Dark Souls, it was an actual blacksmith that made boss weapons for you, except for Dark Souls 2 because Dark Souls 2 sucked. But in Dark Souls 1, it was Andre that made the boss weapon, or it was the giant blacksmith that made the boss weapons, which was really cool. But for some reason, this guy, you do a soul transposition with a boss soul on a weapon to get boss weapons from him, so I can't kill him. He's also a Lord of Cinder. He's required for the plot.
Now, do not be away over long.
You're lucky you have plot armor because I would hack you to pieces right now. So, no life ahead. Tongue. People that play these games are weird. Anyways, I'm going to go venture out here and show you guys an awesome secret. Holy King Lothric. Last hope of his line. Last hope indeed until we cut him down. So, we are going to head up one more level. Not that way. Yeah, we are going this way. This is actually a giant tree. You recognize that from Dark Souls 2, probably. That is one of the only Dark Souls 2 references you are going to come across in this game. You notice it's locked. The key to get inside is particularly expensive, too. But, for people like us, who are determined to break the game, I'm going to show you a cool secret. Not like that. Not like that either. It's been a while since I did this. Okay. If you think I skipped ahead because it took me like 60,000 tries, you can just shut up because you're absolutely right. Anyways, the first item you get up here is going to be 3 homeward bones, which is super useful. You definitely want those. They make your life a lot easier because one thing they absolutely got right is that you can actually use it to go back to the shrine bonfire or the last one you rested at. It gives you a choice. It didn't do that in the other games. But the other big time reason we wanted to be up here is because once you get up this way, you have access to the top of Firelink Shrine. Some of the big important things up here consist of the crows.
Me, pickle pea. Me, pumperum.
Okay. Pickle Pea and Pumperum are your best friends. They are the trading NPC that is classic all the way since Demon Souls. And you can trade items to them for better items, which is something we're definitely going to take advantage of over the course of the playthrough. This is where your first Estus shard is. We just covered this with Andre. You take these to him, and he will strengthen your Estus flask. Now the other... Shut up, you damn birds! The other mainly important thing up here that a lot of people miss is that this is actually an illusory wall. Now once you get rid of this, you can venture over this way, and you can drop down here where this chest is. Now before I go in there, I'm actually going to go back out here. Let's just take a look. We got a hell of a landscape here. All the way back there, you can actually see... I think we picked up the binoculars. I'm fairly certain that we did. I'm going to put them on my tool belt. Or no, that's right. In this game, it's different. I keep forgetting. No binoculars yet, okay. I'm pretty close to them, though. I know the binoculars are like right in the beginning of the game. But, yeah, you can actually see the bonfire from the tutorial over there. And it's crazy to think, but that's Lothric Castle. It's like, for some reason in the tutorial, you start out directly underneath it, and then you have to warp to it to get to it from Firelink Shrine. So this game is not quite as linear as Dark Souls 1. Everything else about it is like super Dark Souls 1-esque, except for the linear gameplay. Ah, yes. This is where the asshole swordsman was. That's where we're gonna go. Okay, I actually want to go do this now instead of later. It's gonna be a pain in the ass getting the tree stick again, but I mean, there's a crystal lizard back here that I really want to kill. Where do you think you're going? Oh yeah, Twinkling Titanite, that's what I'm talking about. You need Twinkling Titanite to upgrade special weapons, which we are going to be doing. And then down this way. Let's see. There is no getting up there. So we're just going to have to come back for that whole area later. Yeah, in order to actually get fully on top of the roof, you do require the key in order to get like up there, but we're not worried about it right now. Or at least I'm not, so it's not entirely important. Okay, the real important item that we really wanted to get was behind this illusory wall. Yes, yes, yes. The covetous silver serpent ring. This ring is going to be our best friend. We want to equip that immediately. Fallen foes yield more souls. So now we're going to get more souls. And then no more illusory walls. Always check though, because Dark Souls. They would be mean like that. And then what I usually do is I just get a running start. Well, if I actually make it, what I usually do is I get a running start and I just jump down there and it's easier like that, but doesn't really matter because we're just going to rest at the bonfire anyways. Okay. So what we're going to do now... How many souls do I need to level up?
Very well, then take.
I have enough. It's good enough for me. We'll take ourselves up to 20 strength.
Farewell, Ashen Me.
Okay. So now the only thing left to do is actually progress into the game. We've covered all of Firelink Shrine now. We did the tree skip so we could get the covetous silver serpent ring, the crystal lizard in the beginning, and then everything else is covered right now. We talked to all the NPCs. So yeah, oh, we need to use the Estus shard. That I cannot forget. And get ourselves some more flasks.
That is what?
Alright. So now we are 4-1,
Pretty.
which is good. Alright, we are steady mobbing now, guys. So, the only place you can proceed to is the High Wall of Lothric. That's exactly where we're going to go. I know for some of you this series is probably moving a lot slower, but don't worry, I'll speed things up soon and we'll have less things to cover. And we'll be able to just get into the thick of the shit, so to speak. Okay, so you are immediately greeted by this tiny little Lord Vessel with a bonfire sword, warmly shrouded in embers, with precious light coming in through a boarded window. It's a sign of hope, is it not? Nah. So, torn shrouds. You can see this is clearly some kind of kingdom. It is, in fact, Lothric Castle. You have these gargoyles here with crowned king heads, which is kind of a unique symbol. I wouldn't call it normal. And the only way to go is forward. Much like my other playthroughs, I am going to stop and admire a lot of the scenery. It's something that I just can't help. So this is the high wall of Lothric. Lothric Castle itself being that way. It's huge. Yes, there are going to be dragons and other kinds of shit that wants to kill you. It wouldn't be a Souls game if there wasn't. Okay. So immediately coming out of the box, there are no items up here. But it is definitely a classic Souls game in that sense. If you explore and break everything you possibly can, you will be rewarded. Okay, you have two different directions you can go. You can go this way, which is the correct direction. Oh my goodness, we already have friends! Code X Shadow. He's got some pretty good-looking stuff for being this level. I'm not gonna summon anybody just yet. I might later. It's funny because every time I think about it, a lot of people gave me a ton of shit in my older walkthroughs just for summoning people and having fun. And I got a lot of complaints because people would say things like, "Why are you calling this an expert walkthrough if you're summoning people?" And I kept saying over and over again, the reason I did it was just to include multiplayer. It's really fun. Alright, the reason I stepped out here and shot the crossbow guy first is because if you proceed the normal way, the way any normal player that's never played this game would, I just noticed that. That's pretty cool that you can see the blue clock from here. But if you would go this way normally, you wouldn't have access to him and he would start shooting you in the ass when you start fighting these people. Now this area is kind of troublesome. You have two dogs that are patrolling and you have these guys sitting down. They don't do anything. The guys sitting down are the distraction, whereas the dogs will come after you. And then you have two particularly powerful enemies that patrol. See this guy coming down the steps here in the distance? He's got a big freaking halberd and he does a lot of damage. So get the attention of the dogs first. Now you can use those guys to block if you want. Again, strong attacks do send the dogs flying, which is very useful. It works purely to your advantage. Shield up against the dogs. Let them attack, and then you react. Once you knock them down with a strong attack, finish them with just a light one, and conserve your stamina. Now, that guy right there with the big freaking axe is the problem. The dude with the halberd, he's not so tough compared to the one with the axe here. Now, the one with the axe, I would recommend you don't get his attention until you get rid of the halberd guy. So you see this guy's range. I'm going to go through some of his attacks real quick so you know how to fight him. That's the regular sweep. He can chain it into a stab like that. But what you want to do is you want to stay behind him and get that critical hit. Then you can charge your R2 and do some real damage. So once you kill him, I doubt this guy will come up the stairs before you kill him because you'd have to spend 3 minutes trying to kill this guy in order to run out of time. But this dude will inevitably come to the top of the stairs. Let me show you why this guy is so dangerous. Check this out. Hit me. You see how much freaking stamina he takes off with one hit? And look, he chains his attacks. That jump attack right there is the real problem with this guy. You can weapon art him. And then otherwise he can be staggered pretty easily, but I wouldn't recommend trying to trade with him. So if you're going to fight the big dude with the axe, make sure you have either your shield up at all times, or make sure you stay behind him. And then I may as well show these crates right here just to expunge the doubt. You can drop down right here. It doesn't make a difference. There's no items or anything, but it'll give you a head start on the guy with the axe. He won't be able to get you on here He has gotten to me one time before because he was sitting here and he leaped. So I guess the chance is yours to be taken. Before you grab that item, make sure you take care of this guy. One trick that you can take to the bank is that the enemies that are sitting down with an orange glow are the ones that are alive and wake up. And then this door does not open from this side. You see there's a little elevator right there that's going to come up, get us access to the item, and we'll be able to open that later. Okay. You have other people here. If you hear breathing, it means that there's enemies nearby, whether they're actual dangerous enemies or not. It depends entirely on whether or not you know how to play the game, but this part is bad. Let me reiterate this. Look me in the eye. It's bad. You will have a lot of trouble in this part if you're not careful. You need to treat this part with finesse. Do you see the one with no shirt in the back there? Let me see if I can... I can't lock onto him because he's not engaged yet, but the one back there that doesn't have the shirt with the dark pants on, he will transform into the same thing that infected Udix Gundyr. The big black, red, snake-eyed thing. And it's dangerous. But what we can do to take care of that is use fire bombs to our advantage. We have 3 of them, which is good. So what you want to do is you want to attack the crossbow guy, and when the skinny dude in the dark pants transforms, he will take out all the rest of these dudes like nothing. Because for some reason the transformation of his is like Super Saiyan, kind of. There we go. Fire bombs for days. Okay. Now once your fire bombs are up, get behind him. Oops. Be better at dodging than me. But if you can't run in and finish him off with melee, then you need to retreat. He actually can't go past the stairs. He wants to, believe me, he wants to get to you. But he can't get past that wall right there. He does get stuck there, no matter what. So, his attacks are blockable. He doesn't do anything other than physical damage, but you are seeing the main problem. He does do a lot of damage. So, seeing as how he has, like, no health left, it would be easy for me to sneak up here. He has bad hearing. Whew. Oh man, this part is always funny. It's like, he wants to get past the wall so bad, but he can't. So it's like, whatever. Yikes. He hits hard. Alright. So that was a bit sloppy on my end, but you get the point. Make sure you conserve your firebombs for this part in particular, because they are super weak to fire. As you can see, when you hit him with the firebomb, he flips out and starts spasming and doesn't attack. It leaves you, I don't know, a minute or two to just start wailing on him. I wasted all 3 of mine on him in a heartbeat, but the reason you want to let him transform, as terrifying as that is, and it's really annoying, he's probably going to kill you on the first try, but he drops a Titanite Shard and an Ember, and those are things that we really, really need in the beginning. That's not something I needed. That's something I wanted. And then there's nothing over here in this corner, shockingly. The reason I'm killing these guys is because I've always followed a testament on my channel. I don't like leaving things alive. It cramps my style. So, the reason you can be sloppy against him, except for dying, you don't want to die against him, you'll lose your Ember form, but the reason you can be sloppy against him is because there's a bonfire right here. It really doesn't matter. You can repair your equipment, and then some. What we got here? Kickenars, 24. He looks like Ganondorf. Who's the other one? Capitan Planet. That reminds me of the Robot Chicken skit. Captain Planet! Okay. This segment is going to be very different. You have enemies that are capable of attacking you that are patrolling around. And what you want to do is, it gives you the bow because you have the ability to pull enemies with the bow. But get his attention first, the sword guy. Get on over here. The next person you want to target is the one coming up the stairs. Two-hand your weapon and kill him. One good hit should do it. The reason you want to kill him as fast as possible is because you probably heard the sound clip that happened when I got near him. He holds a skull lantern that screams. And when it screams, it will cause all the enemies that are glowing orange in the area to swarm at you. And you don't want that. Especially if you're new, it's terrifying. You have a soul item. Now I'm going to kill all these guys because it's free souls. As you can see, they all have weapons. They are capable of attacking you. It's just they don't. Now, one thing that I would like to cover is that you see they're praying to their friends who are impaled by trees and turning into trees at the same time. It's kind of crazy, but one has to wonder why. What is it they're praying to? Why do they feel the need to kneel down before their brethren who is turning into trees and being impaled by trees? And what do they benefit from it? Food for thought. There's one more over here that I always miss. Not this time. Okay, now once you hit this spot, there are two separate directions you can go. One, people miss blatantly. Believe me, it happened to me too. You are driven down. You want to go down because you want to follow the lights, right? It's just a trick of the mind. But think about it. Which light are you going to follow? There's this torch, this big burning bright torch on the wall, and there's this tiny little candle here. Both are lit directions because both are directions you can go. It's hard to see the stairway right here when you're just going forward. But you see, we have another lantern guy here. Same tactic applies. Kill him as fast as possible. If you don't kill him, the guys here that are glowing orange, that actually have weapons and armor, will wake up all at the same time and swarm you. I'm going to take these two out in one swing. And don't worry, this dragon's not going to come alive. It's just a big, giant, petrified, dead dragon. Now for this part, you have a crossbowman. And you have a sword guy that primarily. But you have this guy here that's got a crossbow. You want to take him out. Or no, that's a sword guy too, never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. This is the binoculars. It's a very, very useful item. It's great for mapping out your landscape. In fact, we'll use it right now. Okay. So what do we got? We have a dead dragon over here. We have a dead dragon over there. And we have the rest of Lothric Castle ahead of us, and it looks like thorny roots growing up. Man, and the crazy thing about it is, it's just like being in the Undead Burg in Dark Souls. You may be just at the beginning, but you have full visibility of where you're going to be able to go. I mean, the fact that you can look up at Lothric Castle right now and see all of this, it's not a figment of your imagination, and it's not like a what if, it's not a painted background. This is linear gameplay where you can actually go where you're seeing. It's pretty cool. And that was the main attraction of going up here on the separate path. That, and we also get access to a powerful item that we definitely want. And you do actually have to go this route to get this item. There's a little drop off here. Gold pine resin. It imbues your weapon with lightning. Now, since that guy never got a chance to use the skull lantern, you can take him out at your leisure. Take him out before he even stands up. And you have another guy over here. This guy is just angry. He's going to attack you anyway. Alright, and then we get more fire bombs, which is super useful. Now right here, don't worry, we've already been there. That's actually the other side of, or no, we haven't been there yet. That's actually the other side of where we're going to go. It's, a dragon-infested spot. So, yes, much like, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and, I guess Dark Souls 2 as well, there were certain parts of Dark Souls 2 where they, much like classic Souls fashion, they introduce a dragon very early on, which teaches you how to navigate and solve problems. So we will definitely be getting around to that. And yes, I am a breaker of everything. That's just how I play the game. I apologize ahead of time if that bothers you. Alright. This is the exact part I was talking about. You. I'm going to break his guard. That is the killer thing about weapon arts. One thing I haven't been able to do for you guys is thoroughly go over weapon arts, because I'm saving that for a more appropriate time. Die. Die. Ooh, what did he drop? Bolts. I'll take it. So here's what you want to do for this part. You want to go up here, and you want to activate the dragon. Now, once you activate the dragon, he incinerates everybody, including the big scary axe guy that was staring at us through the cage. Now, the dragon breathes fire on the top level and the bottom. So if you go here... Oops. He nicked me. That's what you want to do. He is kind of a dick, though. He's going to keep doing it over and over and over again. Now, you see all these items, and you're tempted to get them, but you're not gonna get them. Now, the thing about the dragon is you can get him to breathe fire on the lower level first, and then you can make a break for it and run up here and actually go through that cage door there. It's actually what I'm going to do. Yo! Breathe fire down here. Oops. I guess he converged the level. It works vice versa. You can get him to breathe fire up here, and then you can run across here, and you can drop down there as well, and make a run for it around the side. I'm just gonna do classic fashion, thing I recommend, and just make a run for it over here. Now, once you get to this spot, top yourself off and heal. We're about to encounter our first super tough enemy. Run over here. Kill that guy, and then kill this guy. Make sure you kill those two first. Let's talk about this guy. This is your first Lothric Knight. Now this guy, he's going to be the toughest thing you've ever fought up to this point. Because you see how hard he hits. He is perfectly capable of breaking your guard, because he can use weapon art like we can. He combos very brutally, and he also has abilities that can stop you from criticaling him. He has like an anti-backstab shield attack. Ow. There's his weapon art. Now his guard is very, very thick. You see, he knows you're going to backstab him, so he moves. And he doesn't leave himself open very often. But he's got a jab, Lots of swings. Now, for those of you who have never played this game, this guy's going to kick your ass. He's going to kick your ass all over the place. You're going to struggle with him. You're going to hate him. But for those of you who have played Dark Souls games, fear not. Treat him like a Black Knight. Backstab him when he's open, and setup parry him. Okay. I got his gloves and Titanite shard. I'm not complaining about that. Die. This is my item. A small soul item there. And this is not going to open from this side. Do you know why? Because the game wants to scare you. Contrary to popular belief, they would think that you should go around, right? Going around the dragon the back way is probably the safer way. No. Actually, it's not. Because, believe it or not, you are supposed to go directly under the dragon, as crazy as it sounds. Now, if you guys want to see something funny, I'll show you. I can't use the bow properly, but just for, you know, entertainment purposes anyway. Oh, never mind. He's gone. Nope, there he is. Check this out. You... Get back down here. Yeah, you can shoot him in the face. I can't use the bow properly, so I'm not doing any damage. But you get the point. If you can use the bow in the beginning and you buy a freaking ton of arrows, it takes a long time. You can actually get him to go away, and it gets you a free Titanite item. Now for this part, oh boy, this is evil. This is evil. Now, the Mimic is one of the most horrific things in the Soul series. You see that? You see the chest opening up? It has a mouth. It's breathing. Now, the way you can tell the difference between mimics is the chain. Notice how the chain is broken and it's forward. The only way to tell the difference between mimic and the other chests is the other chests, the real ones that aren't going to eat you, have a chain that is curled back towards the back of the chest. I'll show you guys the difference next time we come up to a real chest. But that is how you pick out the mimics. The chest, the chain dangles forward towards the player, whereas it curls back away from the player if it's a real chest. So the mimic is pretty straightforward. I'll use one of my pine resins just to speed up the process because he has a lot of health. Beating the mimic is pretty simple. Do not get grabbed. Now when he smacks you like that, it actually does a fair amount of damage. You see how much stamina it took off. Don't get grabbed, whatever you do. And try to stay behind him. You can get a stagger on him too. It makes things a lot easier. But when the Mimic falls, you always get a special weapon. In this case, we get the Deep Battle Axe. It is a 100% drop. You're always going to get it. But you'll see what it does to our damage. Like right now, our damage is 228 with the longsword because we have lightning on it. Let me get rid of it. And our damage goes down to 133. In the beginning of the game, the Deep Battle Axe is going to be much more damaging. Now what it has is it has dark on it. That's what the Deep Infusion is. It's dark damage. It's going to be very effective against a lot of the enemies in the beginning of the game, and it's no heavier than longsword, so it's okay to equip it. But I also like the moveset of the axe. It's very fast, does a freaking crap ton of damage. And overall, it's just enjoyable to use, too. It's got a really cool weapon art. Okay. So I would say it's about time to end this video. Let me make it to this next bonfire. Show you guys what I mean. You see that? It's got a cool visual effect, too. You can actually see your weapon doing dark damage to the enemies, which is nice. It's a rewarding feeling. And then here we are to our next bonfire. And I don't believe there's anything up here that's notable, except the Titanite shard. The steps are broken, so yeah, just the Titanite shard. And then we have our bonfire. Okay, so let's head back to Firelink Shrine. I think that went pretty smooth. I got really sloppy against the big black infested enemy. But other than that, I think it went alright. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything off screen other than farm for the shield. That's the only thing I'm going to do. But for now, why don't we use our soul items? And we'll see if we can't get some cool level ups after we sell some stuff that we don't need too. Okay, I know I don't need that helmet. And I definitely don't need the Lothric Knight's gloves. Okay, we should be good. Yeah, that actually gave us a decent chunk.
Welcome, host. Very well, then take.
So now, let me go ahead and pump a little bit more strength in. Take it up to 22. Okay. And that is going to do it for part 2 of the walkthrough, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to farm that single Lothric Knight that we just fought off screen, just to get the shield. That's the only thing I want from him, because we're going to use it for the whole game, so we can ditch this Knight shield. The Lothric Knight shield is 1,000 times better. It looks cooler too. But that's the only thing I'm going to do off screen. And other than that, we will proceed forward with Lothric Castle in the next video. We are probably going to make it to the next boss, I would imagine. And then from there, we'll go into the Undead Settlement. But I know this episode was a little longer than I preached. It's I don't know, man. That's just kind of how I play. I'm more suited for the hour-long episodes, but I'm not going to be able to consistently do the hour-long episodes because I do need a little more sleep than that. I work a lot. But other than that, yeah, that's going to do it for episode 2. In the next episode, we're going to continue with Lothric Castle. Hopefully I will have my shield by the time I start that video. Sometimes it takes a while to get. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a pleasure once again. And I will catch all of you in the next video.